MLB All-Star Game on Fox.
Here we go. Welcome to Atlanta where the players play. Yeah, it's time for the Midsummer Classic. Sensational. Oh, baby.
I'm talking baseball's best.
On the biggest stage. Because this is Atlanta.
And the party is always crazy.
The party's don't stop till 8 in the morning.
Good Friday afternoon, everyone. I'm Fox 29 Weather Authority Scott Williams. What a week it's been, ups and downs and temperatures as well as the rainfall. Most of us dry right now, and it's a pretty nice afternoon to be live. And Drew Anderson is live somewhere in Center City, and I see a big red light pole right there behind you. And Drew, tell everyone where you are here on this Friday afternoon.
God, great to see you. I'm on South Street. I'm just down the road from our station. Oh, you can tell I'm on the streets of Philadelphia. The sounds of horns are in the distance. What a beautiful blue sky, perfectly blue above me. Down here, some white kind of puffy clouds starting to grow just a little bit. So the whole reason I came down here was I was looking for a museum for us to be with right here for our 3:30 Fox Weather Philly. And there was the most interesting sounding museum, and it talked about science. So let me show you what this museum is. We'll go inside, we'll check it out. So check out the sign right here. South Street, ready for this one, Scott? Cannabis Museum. And they talk about the science of cannabis. And I thought, all right, wait a minute, is this a smoke shop? No, no, no. They're really into the science and history of cannabis. And I'm fascinated by it. So what do you think? Should we go check it out?
Yeah. Drew, when was it established? I couldn't read that underneath. It said, didn't it say established?
Yeah, recent. So Scott, it's just a couple years old. So the guy was telling me he had a career in cryptocurrency. His buddy owns the building, and they wanted to do some sort of AI museum. They knew they wanted to make this space, and it's tiny, it's cozy, into a museum. And they thought, I don't know if anyone's coming. And they were just half joking around and said, what if we do a cannabis museum? And it kind of caught on. And over the last couple of years, he spent years finding the different artifacts we're going to check out. Its claim to fame is it's the only free cannabis museum in the world.
Wow.
So let's go check it in and let's learn about the science of the plant. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. We probably talked about a half an hour before the show, and I was just learning. So let's go see what's going on. Hey, everybody. Great to meet you. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Chris.
Great to meet you, Chris.
Great to meet you.
So I was telling everyone how this came to be, the idea for the museum. And right out of the gate, I noticed this. I feel like I'm back in chemistry class. Can you walk me through some of the chemistry that we're seeing, and what is the significance of this when it comes to cannabis?
Sure. So it's a plant that makes a lot of different molecules in it. So cannabis is super unique in that we've actually cultivated it to have particular molecules in it. So you have things like hemp, which is used for more fiber, but doesn't have so much psychoactive compounds.
Can we see some hemp? Because over here, this is some hemp.
Yep, absolutely. So this is actually a hemp rope from Philadelphia Ship Farm from 1840 and everything.
Oh, this is from Philadelphia.
Exactly, from Philly.
1840s. I didn't realize hemp itself dated back this far. I thought hemp was something relatively new, but clearly not. 1840s there. What's the significance of Kentucky? Was it a big cash crop back in the day?
So in Kentucky, almost 15% of the GDP was hemp products.
15% of what the state was pulling in money-wise was coming from hemp.
From hemp, yep. And then hemp was then in turn used for either like clothing or paper, and obviously hemp rope and everything, but also things in the shipping industry. So boating and stuff like that, hemp was used along with tar to make them seaworthy and everything else like that.
I want to see more about our history. Look at this, Scott. So let me read this to you. Hemp rope salvaged from a ship docked in the Philadelphia port in 1840.
And actually, that's the second oldest thing that we have here. We actually have a old hookah from almost about 200 years ago. So this is more of an ornamental, would be a hashish pipe that somebody would get from like Morocco or the MENA area and everything. So that was kind of like if you went on vacation, you brought this back and look more cultured to your friends and everything else like that.
Can
But
you
then we
walk me
have-
through some of the globalization of cannabis? I saw this map over here. So, came from China? Where did this get
Yeah,
started?
so the plant itself first kind of popped up in kind of like I guess more Western China, and
How long ago are we talking?
actually millions of years. So almost 20 million years ago, the cannabis plant started to take form of what it is today. And interestingly enough, that actually split off into two different plants: pots, which is from beer, and then cannabis, which everyone knows that to turn into marijuana or hemp, or it has multiple uses and everything.
That's interesting. So, how did it spread? I was fascinated by this particular graphic right here. So, walk me through some of how things got from China and became global.
So a lot of it was because it was used medicinally and also used as fiber and everything. So that it was even used for rope and clothes back then because it's a super fibrous plant. But its medical properties probably weren't really associated, were not found until maybe the post-Neolithic era. But
What does that mean? I've never heard of that.
So Neolithic would be more like caveman
Okay.
era. So, but up until probably about 2700 BC, we didn't know too much about the medical side of it. So until one of the earlier Chinese emperors actually wrote a book on medicinal plants.
Interesting.
And everything. And then from there, just because its uses and also the medical side was transported all around the world, just like as if a spice would start off in one area and then end up in another area.
Yeah, Scott and I know about the trade winds. So they bring tropical storms and hurricanes toward us. But back in the day, folks that use sails would actually take spices, and those winds that would always be near the equator would actually push the sail to take it from one continent to another. So it's interesting that we're talking like that kind of era. In fact, I see these guys of when countries first got founded kind of showing up right there.
Yeah.
It's just like 1500s, Spanish. That's actually pretty interesting.
It was a crop that was very versatile. So, like, you had your potatoes and everything else like that. Like, this was more for like creating clothes and everything else. So, because of the utilitarian side of it, like in maybe like the limited amount and ease of growing it, people would bring it to the colonies to then use for whatever purpose they wanted.
Huh.
Drew, what about the pronunciation? Can we talk a little bit about the history of, are we saying it correctly? Has it always been pronounced cannabis?
Yeah, what's the story on that?
So it was called bang and also kanef in other languages, but the word cannabis actually comes from, I believe, it's like the 1600s when it was first taxonomic. So when the botanists first found this plant and started saying like what this particular plant is, they came up with the word cannabis or cannabinaceae for the family.
Hold on. Let me try this again. Cannabinaceae was kind of, what are we talking? Is that just like the name, the minerals, the things in it?
No, actually, it was I believe Sanskrit. So a lot of words are borrowed from like Latin or Greek and everything, but I believe cannabis is actually from Sanskrit, just like anandamide, the receptor in the brain that the THC binds to is Sanskrit for bliss.
Huh. Didn't know that, so that's kind of interesting. And so what was the thing you were talking about, cannabis and a Mexican pronunciation?
Oh, so marijuana. So marijuana was actually kind of like a Mexican word that then got used in the Americas as marijuana, Huana. And it just kind of stuck. So, but there's a lot of different words for it. You know, people call it grass or even hemp. That's more of a legal definition. To marijuana, to the chronic, and everything else like that. Yeah. Because socioculturally, it has so much history and use associated with it. It's got many different names.
Okay.
So one of the things that I want to learn more about are these different minerals. And Scott, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, hold that thought, Drew, because we're going to sneak a quick break in, and we'll come back and talk a little more about all things cannabis and maybe even how temperature and light impact its growth. You'll want to keep it here on a Friday edition of Fox Weather Philly.
The MLB All-Star Game on